This is the most profitable time of the year in Chinatown because fireworks are a huge seasonal business. Now remember that the Pingyuan projects are controlled by Hua Qing and Sing Sui, but for some reason, a Joe boy named Felix Huey, also known as Tiger, was selling fireworks in front of Pingyuan, and Hua Qing was not happy about this. Later that night, they would approach him, and bam! This incident here would set off one of the most famous events in California history. So let me break it down. Joe Fong would hire a man named Carlos John to spy on Hua Qing for months on end. He would follow them around for months until he got the information he needed. One day while he was spying on them in a cafe, he overheard them discussing a gathering on Labor Day at the Golden Dragon restaurant. And once they got this information, the Joe boys would begin planning one of the craziest and worst ideas known to mankind. And that takes us to September 4th, 1977. The Joe boys meet up in nearby Daly City and decide to drive together to the Golden Dragon restaurant. It's 5 of them in a car together, all bammed up and angry as can be. So they get out of the car and walk in the restaurant. Bam!
Ryu, this is crazy.
This made national headlines all over the country. And the saddest part is that everyone who didn't make it had nothing to do with Hua Qing. This incident was so big that it caused Chinatown to shut down for a long time. Tourists were now scared to visit and locals were scared to go outside. So the entire community came together and decided that something needed to change. So SFPD would start something called the Task Unit, dedicated to stopping Hua Qing and the Joe boys. But it would take a few months before they figured out what really happened. March 24th, 1978. 5 people would go down for it, all of which were 17-year-old students at Galileo High School. Curtis Tam got 23 years but ended up getting out in 1991 at the young age of 30 years old. Melvin Yu got life but was released in 2015. Peter Ng got life but was released in 2018. And Tom Yu got life as well but was released in 2014. So that means that everyone involved is currently out and about. But thankfully after this, everything would calm down. By 1983, Chinatown was back to being one of the safest neighborhoods in the city. The Hua Qing versus Joe boys rivalry benefited no one, and we can honestly say that they learned from it and moved on. That would be for everyone except one man, who was actually at the Golden Dragon on September 4th. Let me introduce you to Raymond Chow, also known as Shrimp Boy. And this guy was possibly just as wild as Joe Fong, except that he moved completely differently. Raymond Chow was high ranked in the Hop Sing Tong. And another difference between him and Joe Fong is that he's a team player, and that would be determined in 1989. That's when a powerful man named Peter Chong contacted him. Chong was the head of Wo Hop To Triad, possibly the biggest Hong Kong-based organization of all time. And at the time, Wo Hop To wanted to expand to the Bay Area, and they had heard good things about Shrimp Boy, so he was chosen to become their West Coast leader. He gladly accepted the powerful role and began expanding quickly. He was making huge money, like unreal amounts that you would never imagine. And on top of this, he was extremely charismatic. Despite having served 2 sentences from 1980 to 1985 and again from 1986 to 1989, he somehow was not regarded as such. In fact, he was often seen hanging out with Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi, and other politicians. And mind you, this is after serving time for all kinds of crazy things. And during all this, he was getting richer and richer in the streets. Despite the absurd amount of money he was making and shots he was calling, he remained under the radar for 25 years. And this may have been due to Chinatown's quiet state after the 1970s.